Good evening, everyone. I am going to discuss about the reduction of propositions to logical form. What is proposition? A proposition is a statement that can be either true or false. It must be one or the other, and it cannot be both. So, parihara na siya og magstorya ta na ay tinuod na ay sagol dili. And a proposition is deemed constructed in its logical form if it has what a proposition must consist of. As mentioned earlier, a proposition has three initial parts, namely subject term, copula, and predicate term. Hence, if a proposition contains all these parts and these parts are properly arranged, such as propositions is drawn in its logical form, in order to arrive at certitude, let us consider the following rules governing manner through which a proposition can be reduced to its logical form. First is determine what type of categorical proposition is the given proposition. This requires us to cautiously determine if the given proposition is A, E, I, O, U. Second is determine or identify the subject term of the proposition. In the preceding pages, we said that the term refers to that part of the proposition which is either affirmed or denied by the predicate term. And the third is determine the quantity of the subject term. In some instances, it may be that the subject term is not qualified. If this is the case, then supply the quantifier. Fourth is determine the quality of the copula. Let us recall the quality of the copula, affirmative or negative. Determines the quality of the proposition. In this light, it follows that the copula of A and I propositions are affirmative while the copula of E and O propositions are negative. So in the first part, dapat mahibawaan jud nimo if asa siya. If dapat mahibawaan gid nimo if asa siya nga category. Kay para if ever mangita ka maglisod or mahibawaan jud dayon nimo. And for the fourth is the copula. Copula is a word or phrase that links the subject of a sentence to a subject complement. For example, the sky is blue. So, in other word, ni-complement ka sa sky, kay nakita man nimo kung sa siya kanindot. And hypothetical proposition. A hypothetical proposition is a compound or complex proposition that shows a condition, dependency, or similarity between two or more propositions. In this definition, we can immediately see that there are three kinds of hypothetical propositions. First is connective or conditional. Second, conjunctive. And third is just disjunctive. Connective or conditional hypothetical proposition. This is a proposition in which the consequent depends upon the antecedent to the effect that only if the antecedent is true can the consequent also be true. From this definition, it can be evidently seen that the connective hypothetical proposition has two essential parts. First is antecedent or the F clause, and second is the consequent or the then clause. For example, we say if it rains, then the ground is wet. So ang if it rains, mo na siya gitawag og antecedent. And then the ground is wet, mo na siya gitawag og consequent. Conjunctive hypothetical proposition. This is the kind of hypothetical proposition that enunciates the impossibility of two things to occur spontaneous or two facts to be true at one at the same time. This means that the component parts of conjunctive hypothetical proposition exclude one another. They cannot be true or false together. These types of proposition usually appears by using the form cannot, be, and at the same time. Hence, it is usually negative in form. Example, a student cannot be academically excellent and mediocre at the same time. An academic institution cannot be a marketplace at the same time. So, mao ni sila example sa type sa proposition na nagamit sa cannot, be at the same time. Third is disjunctive hypothetical proposition. This is a kind of hypothetical proposition which readily exhausts all possibilities, no two of which can be true or false at the same time. However, one from among these possibilities must necessarily be true and the rest false. Usually, disjunctive hypothetical propositions takes the form either or in its contraction. For example, it is either dawn or twilight. It is either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday. Joseph will go to Manila either by plane, by boat, or by bus. So, ang kanang either, naara na nimo if kanusa nimo na siya gamiton, or like, magduha-duha ka nga, mulakaw ba ka ng adlaw, or mugamit ba ka ng butanga. Thank you and God bless.